Okay, what is up, everybody on YouTube? It is your boy Isaac, aka Preem Games. We're going with Preem Games, we're going with Isaac, it doesn't matter. We are back today with a new deck profile. Of course, you've probably seen by the title, so of course you know it's clearly different than the other four that I've done. Right before the ban list, I was locals. Prior to that, I got first place with Tri Brigade, but I didn't want to make another Tri Brigade deck profile. So what I did was I just picked up a bunch of cards that people had for Kozmo, because Kozmo was a deck that when it came out, I really enjoyed playing it. E-Telly was at 3. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I just figured, why not try to make that deck again? A couple days later, the ban list comes out, E-Telly gets put at 2, so I figured, you know what, why not? Let's just try to make this deck kind of playable. Of course, it's casual play, and of course, it's not going to really go anywhere, but I figured, why not give it a shot? There's a couple things I want to test out with this deck, as far as like other engines, Dogmatica engine, and things like that, but right now, it's kind of a pure variant, so we're going to get straight to it. I'm going to go ahead and not waste any more of your time, but before any of that, if you're brand new here, make sure you drop a like, make sure you sub. Right now, it's just kind of strictly deck building content, nothing too crazy, no like reviews of anything that's coming out. That being said, let's just flip you down. Let's get straight to this deck profile. Okay, we are flipped, and I'm not going to be paying too much attention to the camera, but when I'm trying to make a point, I'll look at the camera. It doesn't matter. I'm small in the corner anyways. So first we got the starter card is 3 Kozmo Tin Can. So Tin Can has the effect to banish itself, summon one level 2 or higher after you banish from your hand. Also, at the end phase of the turn, you search 3 Kozmo cards. Your opponent randomly selects one, and then you add that one to your hand, send the rest to the grave. Sword Trooper is a card that special summons from the graveyard, a psychic from the graveyard. Effects aren't negated at all, but it's kind of an extender. Then we play Farm Girl. I might put Farm Girl to 2 when E-Telly comes back to 2. This used to be like the 1 card OTK. So you summon her, she also banishes to special summon from hand, and then when she inflicts battle damage, you pay 500 life points, search a Kozmo monster, and then you can kind of go off from there, and then you can just banish. Good Witch, it's a Book of Moon. Sometimes I run into the Book of Moon thing. I Book of Mooned, I forgot what I Book of Mooned in the tournament today, or yesterday. Good Witch is just another floater target. Doesn't do too much but float. Wicked Witch is a card that on your opponent's turn, or either player's turn actually, you can pay 1,000 and it prevents it from being destroyed. This one is good because if you kind of stall and your opponent can't like bounce it or anything, but it can only attack, you just special summon it in defense, pay 1,000, prevent it from being destroyed, kind of just buy you some time. And then I play 2 Dark Lady. Dark Lady is the effect negator, so again it floats, but you pay 1,000 life points, negate an effect of a monster and destroy it. Then you go, I run 2 Slip Rider because I have access to Cyber Dragon Nova and then Cyber Dragon Infinity. But also when it's special summoned, it destroys a spell or trap card on the field. Another thing is that when it's destroyed, it banishes itself from the graveyard and special summons one from the deck. Forerunner sometimes can get tricky. It's non-targetable, but every one of your standby phases, it gains you gain 1,000 life points. So that's kind of good in itself. 2 Dark Destroyer. Dark Destroyer, when it's summoned, it can destroy any monster on the field, so one of your ships, or to float into like more OTK pushes, or to get rid of a problem that your opponent has on the field. 1 Dark Eclipser. Dark Eclipser banishes a Kozmo from the graveyard in order to negate a trap card. And that's pretty much it for the Kozmo monsters. I don't think I'd change anything up. I want 3 Dark Destroyers, but at the same time, I don't really see the necessity in it when you got another big body. The other thing is, all the ships float into something smaller from deck, but this one, when it's destroyed, you banish and you add a Kozmo to hand. So this is the only one that doesn't really float, but it gives you, it regenerates some resources for the next turn if you need to. I think that's it. I might take Sword Troopers out for the other Farm Girl, but I'm not too sure yet. So for the hand traps, I run the Gamma package because when you banish for cost and they try to hand trap you, you can just, Gamma them on your turn or their turn. It doesn't matter because you no longer have monsters on the field. Kind of the objective is to only really maintain 1 monster on the field, so when you banish for cost, you have none, and then you can go ahead and Gamma if they decide to hand trap you. And then I run the triple D shifter because you don't really care if anything is sent to the banish zone, and it kind of just interacts with your opponent. So this is a deck that can regenerate resources from banished, and also doesn't care if your monsters are banished. But if you have a ship that's destroyed, it goes straight to banished, then it kind of doesn't get to float. So that's the only thing that kind of can run, get you. Can kind of slow you down if you're not careful for it. As far as the spell cards, I run a triple Kozmo Town. Kozmo Town, you can reveal any number of Kozmo monsters from your hand, shuffle them back into the deck, and then draw that many back. So if you have 4 ships that you can't summon because you don't have a pilot, then you just shuffle them all back, draw 4. And it's not once per turn. So if you draw 2 Kozmo Town, you can just activate the other Kozmo Town, redo it. Another thing is that you can add a Kozmo monster back from the banish zone to your hand, and then you pay life points equal to that monster's level. Triple Allure Darkness, you play a decent amount of dark monsters, so when you draw 2, banish a dark monster, it doesn't really matter because you can regenerate it anyways, but just draw fodder. For the 1-ofs, I play 1 E-Telly, that's going to be 2 eventually, 1 D-Fissure, and then 1 Monster Reborn. Reborn might get taken out for the other copy of E-Telly once it becomes legal. I'm not too sure about D-Fissure. It's kind of slow because it's a spell, so if you go second, your opponent already set up its board, then it kind of doesn't really matter. Another thing is, every time I used D-Fissure today, it didn't help me because any one of my ships that got destroyed, it just went straight to the banish zone, and then I wasn't able to float. For the trap lineup, we run triple trap trick because we play multiple normal traps. So as far as the trap trick goes, the targets for that are 3 Dogmatic of Punishment. You don't really use your extra deck, so sending something from the extra deck to grave to destroy a monster doesn't really matter. And then we play double Kozmo Town. This really sucks if you draw a trap trick and then a Cosmojo. I said Kozmo Town, I meant Cosmojo, I'm sorry. So double Cosmojo because you destroy one of your ships. If you don't have Macro Cosmos or D-Fissure online, you destroy one of your ships, banish a card on your opponent's field or graveyard, and then if you destroy one of your ships, they can just float and regenerate themselves back. And then for the 1-of trap is the Macro Cosmos. Again, I don't know if I'm going to play Macro or D-Fissure in the next build, but they both kind of helped somewhat. I played against a Madoche deck, which I had Macro and D-Fissure, and they couldn't really do anything about it. For the extra deck, I don't really use the extra deck, so I just use kind of big bodies to dump for Dogmatic of Punishment. I run a Despian, what is it, Proskinon? How do you pronounce this? Proskenion? I don't know. The 1 Dogmatica, 1 Despian Proskenion because it is a 3200, so if your opponent summons something really big, you just destroy it with Dogmatic of Punishment. A 4000 because sometimes your opponent might have something big and you need to destroy it. So 1 red Supernova Dragon because it's 4K attack. Wind Pegasus at Ignister because it does have a graveyard effect when something is destroyed. When something that you have is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, I believe? Yeah. So when an opponent destroys one of your monsters and you have this in the grave, you can banish it and then shuffle something back into your opponent's graveyard. So this is good because it's 2300 attack and get rid of most things. And then if your opponent destroys something of yours, you just banish it. And then Castell because it's just 2K, 2500. 2800, it doesn't really matter, 2500. These are all just big bodies that I don't really care for because you never really go into anything. The only thing that you might ever go into would be Cyber Dragon Nova, and then from Cyber Dragon Nova you can just overlay into Infinity for a negate. So that's kind of the only reason I run those. And then I run the 2 Entis because you Dogmatic of Punishment, dump Entis, destroy something, and then Entis effect, destroy another card. Now we're back big. That's pretty much it for this deck profile. Like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing intricate. It's a Kozmo deck. It's kind of linear. The whole point of this is to kind of clear boards. I feel like I might take some things out to run like some Lightning Storms, only because you do want to clear board. This way your farm girl can attack, get some damage in, you search, just pop off The whole point of this deck is to try to OTK. You don't really have a control thing. It's real aggro, you just try to end the game as quick as you can. But any kind of control variant that you want is kind of just done with the Trap Trick and the Dogmatic of Punishment and the Macro Cosmos. It kind of just slows your opponent down up until the point to where you could just set up and then poke for game. But like I said, nothing crazy. I'm not too sure of what I'm going to change to add the E-Telly. I want to run limiter removal just because you can just double your machines, and if they're destroyed at the end of the turn, they float anyways. So if you limiter removal, attack, and don't get game, at the end phase, they'll destroy them. So at the end phase, limiter removal will destroy them, and you can just recur them back by their own effects. And this is not a very good like tier 1 deck. This is kind of like a bad rogue deck at the same time, but I was able to get the dubs. But with that being said, thank you guys for coming and watching. Thank you guys for wasting your time here. If you enjoyed this, please drop a like. Please let me know what you guys think. Please let me know if you think E-Telly will make a difference in the Kozmo deck. I know Virtual World's gonna try to abuse it. I'm definitely gonna try to abuse it with Kozmo. But yeah, so with that being said, again, thank you for wasting your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.